Minecraft, all-inclusive. This episode of Exploration and Tactics is indeed all-inclusive because we've got everything. I'm going to be doing another Wither fight. How exciting is that? We are going to find some dungeons. What kind of dungeons are we going to find? And I am going to be talking more about my London trip. So let's go ahead and get started with Exploration and Tactics with Brian. Welcome back to more Exploration and Tactics with Brian. And I was over in the Nether with one of my looting swords, and I managed to get a third Wither skeleton skull. And so I decided that we would fight the Wither again, because I would like to get another beacon. And as you can see, I've been saving up more blocks of iron for kind of beaconing stuff. But at this point, basically, I'm back over at the Wither base. I have my handy existing beacon that's giving me regen and strength, and so that's going to help a lot. The sun is just about to go down, and so we are going to sleep in the bed, and then we will equip up. And I was reviewing the previous fight that I had with the Wither, and I think with constant regen, and now that I know what to do, I'll be in good shape. I still have the diamond armor that has mostly protection 1, as well as this really good bow with punch, infinity, and power. And so, I am wearing all of that. I was thinking about these two swords that I have that have sharpness 3 on them. One has knockback and one doesn't. I think I actually want to use the non-knockback one, because I think when I'm fighting him melee at the end, I just want to be able to keep on hitting him and not getting him knocked back, I think will be better for me. And so I think I'm going to want that. And yeah, the rest of my inventory, I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. I think pretty much I have the things that I need. It's mostly having the good bow, making sure that my food is all up and I have the good sword and I'm wearing the good armor. And I think we should be in good shape. Hopefully, maybe. And so I'm going to eat this piece of steak before I go, and then I have some chicken as a backup. I'm not going to try to drop the anvil on his head this time around. I do still have this anvil mechanism set up, but at this point I am sufficiently low on iron that I don't want to kind of waste iron on anvils, because when you drop them from this height, they get very damaged. And yes, I think it's, based on my previous attempts, going to be hard to drop an anvil on the head of the Wither. But once again, for those of you who may have forgotten or may have missed it, I could press that button, and then I had 4 pistons up there that I could set anvils on top of that would then fall onto these 4 squares. And so we almost managed to drop an anvil on the head of the Wither last time. And as you can see, I've got strength and regen whenever I'm in this region due to the beacon. And so that is happy. And I think pretty much that's all the stuff I'm going to need. And I remember that he explodes a big area when he first joins the battle, and so I'm going to go ahead and make kind of a little stand for him to kind of get spawned upon, I think. Kind of like this. And so hopefully he'll kind of only explode those bricks over there, I think. And let's see. I probably am not actually going to need the fire resistance potion, because I don't think he ever caught me on fire. And it's daytime, and it's morning time, and I have some trees in the arena that are probably going to get blown up. That's okay. Yeah, I think otherwise we're in good shape. And so I'm sure this is going to be terrifying, and I'm going to think about something that I've forgotten. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's try to fight this guy again. And so I need to remember, I need to use the bow at the beginning. I've got my infinity bow, right? Yes, infinity 1. Need to use the bow, use the bow, use the bow, use the bow, and then once he gets down to the second phase, just keep on hitting him with that. I don't have any instant health potions or anything. I'm just counting on the regen, the constant regen. So, this is still very frightening. Here goes nothing. Alright. Wither, 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 wither. Kapow! Alright. And he's withered me already. And of course, I'm having trouble seeing what my current health level is. I think I'm still like 9 hearts or something, and if the arrows would stop bouncing off and actually hit him, I'd be doing well. But yes, I think the regen is going to do really well. I guess I need to hit him in the heads rather than the body, possibly, with the arrows. I'm not really sure. I haven't actually read up on the battle to know if there's any other good tips. But I'm pretty sure I'm still kind of hanging around at 9 hearts. And so long as I keep getting arrows in him, yeah, he's already down to like half health. I'm gonna run away for a moment just to make sure. Yes, I am at like 9 hearts. Alright, and so, yeah, so we're changing phase, and so now we're down to here. Oh, nope. He's back up some health. Alright, there we go. Now I can hit him with this sword. And I'm still doing well, and he's getting tons of damage. Oh yeah, this is gonna be easy. Woohoo! And there is my beacon block. Awesome. And I think possibly you don't get any experience, or I might have just gotten a tiny bit of experience. And my original beacon is still intact. And a tree grew! Rather than destroying life, we actually managed to gain some during that battle. Alright, and so definitely constant regen, plus the diamond armor, plus knowing the correct strategy to actually attack this guy, made this fight much easier this time around. But yeah, now this is terrific. I've got a second nether star that I can make another beacon block with, and so I'm thinking either I'll probably, I don't know, haste is the other really good thing, or jump 2 could be useful as well back over at the silverfish area is one of the things that I was thinking, because basically the problem with the silverfish is they get all around you and you get into trouble, but if I had jump 2, I'd be able to jump up onto something that was like high enough that the silverfish wouldn't be able to get me, and so I was thinking that might be useful as well. But in any case, I'm going to need a whole lot more iron blocks to get another kind of good beacon somewhere else. I could extend this beacon, but I think I might just leave this one with regen and strength for future battles with future withers. But in any case, that was short and sweet. That's kind of what I was hoping for and expecting. But you never know when you're fighting the wither. And so perhaps in the future I will get bold and try to like fight 2 withers at once or something like that. But this is a good way to start off an episode. Oh, the other tree grew as well. Fantastic. But yeah, now I'm going to recollect my inventory and go back to normal inventory. And yeah, we'll go work on something else. So I'll see you guys in a moment. Actually, the pattern of the explosion actually looks kind of cool as well, where he originally came from. It's a very jagged edge. But it occurs to me also if I wanted to farm sand, I could spawn him over in the desert over here as kind of an easy way to just kind of pick up some free sand as part of that explosion. But yeah, I just thought I was looking back at the explosion as I was about to go start filling it in, and I decided before I fill it in, like if you're just standing up here, you can see it's like a nice kind of circular, I don't know, I just thought it looked cool. Maybe it's not all that interesting to you guys. I should note, I didn't get it on camera, but at the end of the previous episode, when I'd been working with all the silverfish, you may remember that they had broken apart all of my armor, and it was after that that I decided to go back to the nether to try to fight more wither skeletons, to get more wither skulls, but I forgot that all my armor had broken off. And so the first battle I got into was with 2 wither skeletons and a blaze. And I killed them all, but the blaze had set me on fire, and I ended up burning to death. And so I ran back into the nether to grab my stuff, and there was a wither skeleton skull there. And so in the first 2 wither skeletons, I got the final wither skeleton skull that I needed. The other thing that I did off camera, based on a comment on the previous episode, is the next time I repaired this pick, the Efficiency 5 pick, I renamed it. I renamed it Quick, because apparently once you have named an item, future repairs are then less expensive in terms of enchanting cost, and I believe that's actually the case. And so I was trying to come up with a name for this pick that mined so quickly, and I thought Quick was a good name for a pick. And so from now on, this pick will be named Quick. And I use it as kind of my all-purpose tool. It's an axe on trees. It's a shovel for cutting up, you know, dirt and gravel and all those kinds of things. Basically, rather than carrying around multiple tools, I just carry around Quick, and it's good for everything. And so, let's see, what are we going to work on next? I think what I'd like to do next is do some more caving for iron and other resources. And so, I was just walking a ways away from the village, and I heard skeletons down here, and so I'm going to dig down and try to find a cave system down here somewhere using Quick. And yeah, once I get myself into a cave system, then we'll start caving, and I will catch you up on the rest of my London trip. So I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, I found a cave and I see a skeleton. So I think we are ready to get started with our caving. Oh, there's another skeleton as well. And a bat! Hello, little bat. Goodbye, little bat. I was kind of trying to kill the bat, and it was kind of the case that he just got in the way of fighting the skeleton. I do like the little squee noise that they make when you kill them. So even if they don't have a drop, it's still worth killing them just for the noise. There were a lot of skeletons down here. Alright, I'm actually going to need some coal as well. Ah, I love this pick. Quick, you were the best thing ever. Alright, London. Let's stay on task. Sunday was the final full day of our trip, and it began with the London Eye, which someone asked me about. For those of you who don't know, the London Eye, also called the Millennium Wheel, is kind of like a giant Ferris wheel. I guess it's kind of like a good first approximation description. And it is above, it's like right along the Thames, and it gives a nice view. I'm not sure how tall it is. It's like taller than, like, I don't know, I want to say like a 12-story building or something, so it goes up really high. And rather than kind of, you know, when you're at a carnival or an amusement park, you have a Ferris wheel. Oh, there's just like a whole nother level down here. Let's just hop down here and see what we got. Got a bunch of spreading mushrooms. Rather than a normal kind of, you know, carnival Ferris wheel, each car holds like, you know, 2 to 4 people or something inside of it or whatever. This is like a gigantic Ferris wheel, and so the individual kind of like chambers are like full-size rooms that have glass all around, so you can see kind of 360 degrees all around you, and they hold like 20 to 30 people inside them, and there's like a bench in the middle. And so it's a great place to go up and just get like a bird's eye view of the city, 360 degrees, and it moves very slowly, and so you kind of like slowly go up in an arc, and you can see over in this portion of the city, and then you get right up on top, and you can see all the way around you, and then as you're moving over here, you can see this portion of the city really well. And it was just amazing. I've never been on anything like that. And I don't know if other cities have anything like that. I guess it was something, it's called the Millennium Wheel, because it was originally something that was built in the year 2000, I guess, as part of their just kind of millennial celebration there in London. And it was so popular that they decided to keep it, and so whoever, you know, built it or whatever, like, got a contract to keep it up for the next 20 years or something and continue to run it. And so it's a very popular tourist attraction now. And if you're in London, I would definitely say take a ride on the London Eye and bring a good camera, because it was awesome. And I seem to be... Yeah, let me go find some more darkness and something else interesting to explore, and then I'll bring you guys back in. Alright, here's some more darkness. And some more ores, hooray! The next thing we did... Oh, and I should mention, you know, you think of London, especially London in November, as kind of like a rainy, dreary city or whatever. The day that we were there, that particular Sunday, it was beautiful. It was sunny. Oh, this is a dead end. It was sunny and clear, and you could see for miles and miles, and so that was super awesome. The thing that we did next, after doing the London Eye, is we went to, is it Buckingham Palace? Where you see the changing of the guard. And that was not one of my favorite things, actually, in London, just because I think the combination of... Well, I don't actually know, since I've only been there once, but the fact that it was a beautiful weather day... Oh! Is there a skeleton dungeon over here? There were a ton of... Whoop. I do not want the creeper to explode the dungeon stuff. Although, if you guys want to make a record for me... Alright, maybe not. I kept hearing tons of skeletons. I think there's another creeper in here still. Let's try to get a little bit more light in here and then try to get some of these guys to clear out. And I was wondering if there might be a skeleton dungeon, just because the number of skeletons seemed extreme or disproportionate. These guys are doing monster infighting, even though I'm standing right here. Although this one's shooting that one, and that one isn't shooting back at this one, which seems a little odd. And it took him like 6 hits as well, which also seems off somehow. Not sure. Not sure. I'm going to have to do a little bit more experimenting with that. I think I did read or hear something about monster infighting like coming back, and so maybe now, after a skeleton shoots another guy, they don't turn on each other. It is another skeleton dungeon. I'll have to experiment with that a little bit more. But this is awesome. I'm finally getting more skeleton dungeons to kind of even out the numbers, and so perhaps in the long run, the odds will really pay off. And it will be the case that 25% of the dungeons that I encounter, wow, will be skeleton dungeons. 3 saddles. I like such trinkets. All right, I'm going to collect up the moss stone and drop some stuff off in the ender chest, and then I will continue talking about Buckingham Palace and the changing of the guard. All right, we got 46 moss stone out of the 4 there, and I left a bone in the ender chest to remind us that it was a skeleton dungeon. And I am going to take a moment to find some more darkness, and then I'll keep talking. Alright, I found some more darkness over here. Let's hope there's some more good cave. So, I was saying, the changing of the guard was not my favorite bit in London, and I'm not sure if it's just because the weather was so nice that day, or maybe it's just always that popular. But despite the fact that we got there like 30 minutes to an hour early or whatever, people get crowded all around the fences or whatever, and so it's very hard to see. You have to either kind of like push your way through the crowd so that you can get up against the front of the fence to see into the area where the changing of the guard is going to happen, or, you know, have gotten there early enough, or, you know, somehow be super tall and be able to see over people. And it was hard to see, and so I couldn't witness a whole lot of that. And so that was the reason that I didn't enjoy that one as much. And I guess at this point, I've kind of exhausted this little cave system. I think it's nighttime, yeah. So this is not the best time to just be hopping about. So I'm going to go look for another cave, and then, hello, a zombie villager. And then we'll continue talking about the rest of the day. So once again, I'll see you guys in a moment. I'm running home to see if I can sleep in the bed before daybreak comes. I like to sleep in a bed at night whenever possible, just because it resets the weather, and so you're less likely to get rain in your world if you sleep every night. And so it's a race against the clock. This will also be an opportunity for me, hooray! This will also be an opportunity for me to drop off some excess inventory, because at this point I'm carrying a lot of crap. And yeah, then we'll go find another cave system a little bit later. Before I forget about it, let's go ahead and add our skeleton dungeon to our tally over here in the Hall of Structures. And so now we're up to 3 skeleton dungeons, which is getting a little bit more respectable. I hear a skeleton way up here, and so I wonder if there's like some kind of cave inside the sand over here or something. Looks like there might be. If so, that could be another cave system that we could explore while we finish our story. Sounds like there might be somebody to my left. Maybe? Hello, skeleton, where are you? Well, I'll bring you back in when I find him. He found me before I could find him. In case you noticed that my hearts are down. He got a shot off. Ooh, got like glitched into a block there. Oh, I see. It's like a little lake underneath down here. Alright, sadly that means it's not a cave system. So I will continue looking for a cave, and then we'll continue our story. Alright, I found another cave system, and I just realized that a skeleton dropped a Power 1 bow at some point, and I didn't even notice. So that's a nice little bonus. In any case, plop, here we are in another cave. And so, as I gather this iron, let me grab my London notes again. Right, so the changing of the guard was hard to see. It's not all that interesting. It's kind of, you know, like the one set of palace guards kind of parade in, and then they do some kind of ceremony as they swap out with... Oh my goodness! It's a day of dungeon luck! It appears that we have found a zombie dungeon. Hello, zombies! I just dug down randomly in the desert, and, yep, just ran right into this, and so, well, you know my luck with dungeons. A zombie dungeon, alright. Actually, I haven't found a zombie dungeon in a little while, I think. I've actually... The last 2 dungeons I found, a skeleton, or there might have been a spider dungeon in there as well. But yes, the most common of the dungeons. All right, well, I suppose that as I mine up the moss stone in here, I can continue telling the story of the rest of the day. So yeah, after witnessing the changing of the guard, which, as I said, wasn't all that interesting to me, then we went to the Churchill War Rooms and Museum, which I thought was actually really interesting. And so basically it shows kind of like underground bunkers during World War II, where Churchill and kind of like all the military staff and things were kind of, planning and directing bits of the war. And it's like down in this bunker that's, beneath, I don't know how many, there was like a concrete slab that was like so and so thick and could withstand the such and such blast. I don't remember like all the details. And so that bit was interesting. But then they had all kinds of historical documents, and they had a nice, did I already grab all the stuff out of both these chests? I think I did. I don't think there was anything too interesting. They had a number of interactive exhibits where you could like listen to video or look through different documents and hear like transcribed phone conversations between Churchill and I think it might have been like Truman after the end of the war or something. And yeah, just kind of like learn the history of Churchill and politics, and World War II was never kind of like a strong point of mine anyway. And it was as far as kind of, interesting museums go, I thought it was really, really well set up and was very interesting. It was the kind of thing that if you're interested in that kind of history and things, like you could easily spend many hours there. We were only there for maybe a couple of hours or something, but it was actually quite cool. And so that was a cool thing to go to. And let's see. After that, to get back to the hotel, we took a black cab. And so in London, there are lots of taxi cabs, including, I guess, kind of like somewhat iconic black cabs that have room for typically 5 passengers in the back seat. There's kind of like 3 across the back, and then there's like 2 facing backwards the other way that are kind of like jump seats that fold down. And I might have mentioned it before, but London is a very old city, and so it's not like Manhattan or something that's on a grid system. London is just kind of very haphazard, and you've got streets and circles, and everything goes every which way. And so I imagine that navigating London and being a cabbie there... Oh, wow. I found the sky. Where am I? Oh, this was pretty much almost visible from where I was coming in. I dug down just, I wonder if we can see it actually. Oh yeah, right here. I dug down right there, just kind of randomly, and dug a staircase to find the zombie dungeon, and now we're right back up here. Alright, that's nice. At this point, I think I've got... Actually, I could use more coal. Alright, hello, coal. And so, to be a cab driver in London, I'm sure it takes a number of years to get all the knowledge around the city. But yes, it was just fun to ride in a cab, and at the time there were, I forget, like 12 of us or something, and so we ended up like taking 3 separate cabs to get back to the hotel in our portion of the tour group who had gone to the Churchill War Rooms. And hello, zombie! And so that was another little fun thing to do. And yeah, our cabbie was nice and knowledgeable. I can't even remember now what we were talking about. Yeah, and one of my cousin's kids earlier, he'd gone to Wembley Stadium because he's a big soccer fan, and was talking to the cabbie about soccer or whatever, and was also a soccer fan, and so in general, like, had some good cab drivers to talk with. And so that was cool. And then finally, for the final meal of our trip on Sunday night, we went out to, I don't remember the name of the place, unfortunately, but it was a kind of medieval dinner. And so it was at this place that had kind of an interesting kind of like underground catacombs kind of atmosphere or whatever. And yeah, it was kind of a medieval times kind of thing where there were some kind of like knights who go and duel, and there were people singing, and there was a juggler, and there was kind of like a dancer, contortionist person, and, just kind of like when you think of, medieval entertainment or something, people dressed up in the times, and the waitress who comes to your table, you're supposed to call wench, and when you need more something, you like bang on the table and you say, wench, come here, or whatever, and she'll fetch you more water or whatever. And the food, the grub was pretty simple. And I can't remember if we had any silverware, and so it was just like soup, and then you could either just drink it out of the bowl, or you could, there were like big, heaping loaves of bread or whatever, and you just break off some bread and sop up some of the soup kind of thing. And so it was okay. I remember doing something like that here in the States as a kid, and it was something that I think the kids enjoyed. But yeah, it wasn't all that interesting or inspiring to me as an adult. But it was definitely something different and kind of a nice way to kind of end the trip. And yes, then I guess the only other thing I'll say is we ended up flying back on Monday, and I hadn't done international flights in a long time, and it was actually a nice flight. We were flying on Delta, and it was a plane that was, I forget what model plane it is, but it was 232 seating, so there's like 2 on the left and 3 across the middle and 2 on the right. And so our family had like a row and a half or something, or maybe even like a couple rows, kind of just in our main group portion of the tour group. And there was in-flight entertainment, where there's kind of like a little TV screen and the back headrest of the seat in front of you or whatever. And so on the way over, I watched the Hunger Games movie. Did I already mention this? I can't remember if back when I was first talking about this, I talked about going over. And then played some like video games on that little screen on the way back. But I was also just kind of playing around on my Surface during the flight as well, as you might imagine. And at this point, what was that? Oh, that was a bat. That was your leathery wings. Hello, little bat. I will let you live, because I'm in a storytelling happy mood. And yeah, was there anything else exciting about the flight? Definitely, yeah, the jet lag was worse on the way back, and I think it was just because I was kind of sleep deprived the whole time. I'm someone who in general is a long sleeper. Like, I like to average kind of like 8 to 9 hours a day, and the combination of only having kind of 1 hour of sleep the first night, and then probably only like sleeping kind of like 7 hours most nights that I was there or whatever, like I was very tired, and then changing time zones again and again, coming back. So yeah, it was definitely tiring. I enjoyed the trip a lot. And perhaps at some point I'll also fill you in with other bits of the trip from when I was in kind of Baltimore and Washington, D.C. and New York. But definitely the London one was kind of like the big touristy one, going abroad somewhere where I hadn't been before. And so that was the stuff that I really wanted to talk about. And in any case, since I've finished up discussing that, I suppose this is also a good place to go ahead and finish the episode. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed listening to me and seeing some successful caving, some wither fight. We'll end the episode back at the Hall of Structures so that I can mark that we found one more zombie dungeon and keep track of what our current structure count is. And yeah, we'll leave the episode off there. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. All right, now this is interesting. I was walking back through the desert at night and then slept in the bed, and I did not realize that this was the case, that a skeleton could hide under a floating block of water and not burn up. And so that's just a little bit entertaining to me. I will put him out there so that he can burn. And I see a creeper out here as well. And I would actually really like to kill the creeper and try to get some gunpowder. Seems like it wasn't meant to happen today. Yes, because more gunpowder could be useful, because I'm going to start needing gunpowder for the splash potions if I want to do more splash potions of poison on the silverfish, which is a project that I would like to get back to soon. And so, yes, I would like to get more of that. But in any case, before we end the episode, let's go ahead and drop off our moss stone signifier of another zombie dungeon. And so we are up to 11 zombie dungeons, 7 spider dungeons, 3 skeleton dungeons, 5 desert pyramids, 2 strongholds, 2 witch huts, and a jungle temple for our structure count for the day. So once again, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you guys are having a great day. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.